So you're on your Walt Disney World vacation. You spent thousands of dollars to come to the most magical place on earth. We're going to go over 10 ways where you can save money during your Walt Disney World vacation. So if you guys are new here and you enjoy Disney World trip tips and tricks, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. We also do vlogs. We upload 3 times a week, so you can support the channel even further by hitting the thumbs up button. Okay, we're going to get straight into our tips. One of the very first things that you will notice, especially if you're going to Disney World during a hot time of the year, this is something that I see a lot of people do when we go in September, is buying bottles of water consistently. I've seen the same people buying bottles of water at quick service, and I've had to sit and tell them, I was like, why are you buying bottles of water when you can get your water for free? So this is something that we do. When you're going to buy bottles of water, you're going to pay anywhere from upwards of $4.50 to $5 for a 20-ounce bottle of Dasani water. The best thing to do is to just bring your own water source to the parks. And the easiest way to do this is to bring your own insulated cup from home. It doesn't have to be one from Walt Disney World. We just choose to get one at Walt Disney World. And what we do when we're at the parks is we go to any quick service location and we get free water. Because you can get free water from just about any quick service location in Disney Springs at all 4 of Walt Disney World parks, and it doesn't cost you anything. Buying a bottle of water can be very expensive over a period of time doing it multiple times, especially when you're paying $5 for a bottle of water. So definitely one of the biggest things to do is always bring your own water source to the parks. Another thing we're going to talk about is dining. And while this tip is really not geared towards making your dining reservations cheaper using your advanced dining reservations 60 days out, but if you wanted to save money, this is something that a lot of people do complete when they do this, is bringing your own snacks and lunches to the parks. I've seen a lot of people that eat quick service one day, and then when they have their lunch, they brought their lunch from their resort, and Disney World will allow you to do this. You can bring your own ice chests and stuff into the parks, and you can bring your stuff like sandwiches, Lunchables, and stuff like that. You can even put your own bottled water in there if you wanted to keep yourself fully refreshed and hydrated throughout the day. But this will also save you a lot of money because Disney World has a lot of places where you can just really sit down and eat. A lot of people, when they do their quick service locations, a lot of them want to eat there. This is something that we don't ever hardly do unless we know there's going to be like an opening seating there. We normally have one person hold us a table somewhere, we'll go get our food and then come there to make sure that we have a place to sit down at. But if we go to the restaurant that we're eating at and we see something like that, then that's when we do that. But you can save yourself a lot of money by bringing your own snacks and your own food from home or your resort using your grocery order to your resort, and you can bring your own sandwiches and stuff like that. If you're not going to bring them into a cooler, I would highly recommend freezing your bottled water the night before and then just bringing them into the park that way. With the Florida heat, they will melt and it'll be cold for you by the time you're getting ready to drink it. This is something that a lot of people, I've made videos and talked about this quite a bit, or a video on how anyone can afford Disney World. I'm going to link that in the description box below. I talk about this very frequently during this, and that is the use of Disney World gift cards. Disney World gift cards can be bought at a discount at Target using your Red Dot card, or at Sam's Club or Costco, or any of these places will sell these Walt Disney World cards at a discount. These Disney World gift cards can be used for anything on Walt Disney World property. They can be used to go towards your package. They can be used for dining reservations. They can be used at quick service locations. They can be used for snacks. So if you really wanted to save yourself some money, you could just do what we do. After we get our package paid off, we buy these gift cards in large bulks and just stack them up. And then we go onto the website and disneygiftcard.com, and we move all of our gift cards onto like 2 different gift cards. So that way we only have to carry 2 instead of a big bundle of a bunch of them. So the Disney World gift cards is probably the best source of getting a discount, not only on your food, but on your overall trip as a whole, because you're getting like $10 to $15 off of each one of the gift cards that you purchase. So you're saving $10 or $15 each time you buy a gift card. If you buy like 20 or 30 of them, then you're saving roughly right around $200 to $300. And that's $200 or $300 you could use for something else, like a good extra add-on, capture your moment type of picture things, or a really good massage at the Grand Floridian Resort. So a lot of these things you can really take advantage of, and using the Disney World gift cards is probably one of my best things that I take advantage of every single trip. Another way to save money on your Walt Disney World trip is to stay away from Disney World during peak seasons. Peak season at Walt Disney World usually comes during the course of spring break. After spring break, your summer time, anytime school is out, is going to be considered peak season. The reason why I say this is because price surging really applies during these times of the year, during spring break, during summer, especially during when you get closer to Halloween, anytime around any type of special holidays like 4th of July, Thanksgiving. The busiest time of the year is anytime after Christmas up until January the 2nd. That is what Disney World calls the most busiest time of the year, which you will see a higher demand for people wanting these reservations, which causes Disney World to peak up their prices at even higher than normal. But this is the reason why we always choose, when we take the kid, we always choose to go in September, because kids are back in school. Not a lot of people really go. We get an opportunity to have lower wait times, lower crowds. So it's a really great time. The surge pricing isn't really in effect at that point in time, because during September is considered a slow time. This time also applies if you're doing something after Thanksgiving, usually a week or so after Thanksgiving and before the Christmas holidays. It's really a great time because everyone's kind of just waiting for the holidays to come around. So there's really nobody in the park during that time. The first couple of weeks in January are kind of dead as well. So picking these times will save you money, because you're not going to have to pay as much for your ticket prices. You're not going to have to pay as much for your hotel resorts. But if you have to go during this time of the year, and it's the only time that you have to go, then you should probably do what you feel is going to be best for you. But the best way to save money is to go during non-peak times. Another thing that kind of coincides, number 4 and 5 kind of really go together, and that is Disney Genie Plus. If you're going during a non-peak season, then you might find out that using Disney Genie Plus really isn't that much of a requirement as it is if you go during a peak time. Lower crowd levels means standby line wait times are going to be a lot lower. So the need for Disney Genie Plus is actually, it's kind of up to you if you want to get it. We get it every time because Disney World crowds are probably one of the most unpredictable things ever. So we always get it just to make sure. If you're going during a low peak time like January, February, September, the end of August, something like that, then you might be able to maneuver through some of the parks without purchasing Disney Genie Plus. The price for Disney Genie Plus can range anywhere from $15 per person up to $29 per person, depending on which time of the year you go. The higher demand for it means the higher surge pricing will take effect into Disney Genie Plus. When we went in December, it's considered the busiest time of the year, and it was $29 per person per day, which if you have a party of 4 is roughly $120 just for Disney Genie Plus, and then you have to learn how to use it. If you're not exactly sure how to use Disney Genie Plus, we have a video out for that. I'll link that one in the description box for you below. But if you can maneuver through the crowds, especially when you're going to like Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, you can still get the individual light-in lanes without purchasing Disney Genie Plus. So you would still be able to do that. And if you're a Disney World Resort guest, you would be able to have access to these at 7 a.m. So it's kind of something to think about. You could kind of save money and just stomach the standby lines if you wanted to, or you could pay the extra anywhere from $15 to $29 per person for Disney Genie Plus, whichever is going to be best for you and your party during your trip. There's a phrase that we like to use quite often at Disney World, and it is called time is money. Time is definitely money. A lot of people are willing to pay the $15, $20 Uber fee if they can get back to their resort or to the parks at on time compared to waiting in an extremely long Magic Kingdom bus line. A lot of these things really take into effect, especially if you're staying off property. A lot of the off property resorts surrounding Walt Disney World, like at the Flamingos Crossings, a lot of these offer the shuttle to certain parks on Walt Disney World, but they only come at a certain time and they only leave at a certain time. So you really can't get to the parks at the time you wanted. If you wanted to rope drop Animal Kingdom, for instance, you would get to Animal Kingdom probably 2 or 3 hours after the park opened. So if you wanted to skip the individual lightning lane, then you wouldn't be able to do that. So staying on property is probably going to save you the most time when it comes to getting to and from the parks, because it's literally, you go wait in a line, you get on your bus, you get to where you're supposed to be. And these buses start running anywhere between 6 and 6:30 a.m., whereas the off-site resorts, probably not so much. There are some of the Disney Spring resorts that offer these hotels shuttle services to and from all 4 theme parks, like Jury Inn and Suites. So definitely something to consider, but I would definitely highly recommend, if you are going to be rope dropping every single day during your trip, to probably consider staying on property because of the transportation. The transportation can be the biggest headache and the biggest nightmare, and it can also be the biggest relief to your trip to have one less thing to worry about. Staying off-site, you're kind of adding that stress to you, so you kind of want to invest more time equals more money. Another way to save money is to pay attention to Walt Disney World's website when they start announcing new promotions and new ways to save money on your trips. A lot of times they will offer discounts. Last year they had what they called a Disney Plus Day, so people that were subscribers of Disney Genie Plus were able to get into the park an extra hour early. This year, during our time, during the time that we're going, I think it's from like July until October, I could be wrong, but they're offering these promo cards. If you're staying at a value resort, you would get a $500 promo card. Staying at a moderate resort, I think you would get a little bit more. And then staying at a deluxe resort, you would get more than that. They're offering these promo cards that can be used for dining. It can be via quick service or dining reservations. So if you're partying up with somebody and staying at a value resort, you're going to get that $500 card as soon as you check in. You can easily just take it and split it between 2 people, or you can have one party keep it for everyone. It's really up to you, but really take advantage of these times, because during low peak times is usually when Disney World likes to throw out percentage discounts on hotel resorts. They like to do that on certain ones. They're like, okay, if one resort's not really selling that they want to fill up, they'll start giving like a 15 to 20% discount on that particular resort. So really pay attention to the promos and stuff when you're booking. If you're using a travel agent, normally they're going to already be on top of it and they're going to let you know about it. A lot of these times you're not going to be able to use more than one promo, so I would suggest using the one that's going to save you the most money at that particular time. Another way to save money on your vacation is not using the direct rideshare service. What I mean by direct rideshare service is services that are offered like Mears Express or Magical Tours. That's just to name a couple. There are a lot of these out there, and what they do is they pick you up from the airport and they will take you to your Walt Disney World resort, and then they will pick you up from your resort and take you back to your airport. These things can be very, very good, but at the same time, they can be very, very pricey. For Asher and I, last year we used Mears Express. It ran us roughly about $260 to go from the airport directly to our resort and from our resort back to the airport. These things are really good to use, and we needed to use it because the Sunshine Flyer and stuff like that, they run on a bus route, and we had to be at the resort at a certain time for one, our California Grill dining reservation, and two, because we had to pick up our stroller rental at a certain time. So if these are something you would do, I would highly recommend using Mears Express. That is probably the cheaper out of all of them, and they offer just about the same service, but they are through Disney World. So definitely something to look into. I would highly recommend, if you need to get directly there, to probably just use your rideshare service like Uber and Lyft to get there, as it'll be very, very much affordable, but It will cost you a little bit extra if you have an infant or a toddler that is in a car seat and you need them to bring a car seat. You're going to have to pay a little bit extra for that, but it's not going to equal round trip wise in the amount of like $250 or something like that. I think the most you'll probably pay for a one-way trip is like $50 to $60. So definitely something to look into if you're trying to save money on your transportation to and from the Orlando International Airport. And our final thing that we want to talk about, it's kind of the saving money tip and at the same time being a little bit smart with how you reserve your dining reservations. A lot of people I see, they stay away from dining reservations that are a little bit on the pricey, like the fine dining, like dinner at Le Cellier or California Grill. All of these places are very, very good and they have really good food and a good ambiance, but the prices are really, really high. A lot of people stay away from this and they're like, okay, well, let's get this restaurant. It looks to be a little bit more affordable. You have to kind of keep in mind the ratio between experience and food. If you're going to a character dining, don't expect the food to be like 5-star restaurant. The food is going to be merely between 2 and 3 stars, roughly on average, because you're not paying for the food, you're paying for the experience. But if you want a fine dining experience, there is a lot of fine dining that they have that is going to be very, very expensive. And a lot of people don't want to put $100 per person out of pocket for that. So what they do, they settle for less and they end up getting a dining reservation that absolutely sucks. Like Chef de France when we were at Epcot this past December. Really, really bad experience. It was our first really bad experience when it comes to food at Walt Disney World. So a lot of times it's always best you get what you pay for. So if you really want something really good, it might be better to pay the price, but just don't eat out as much. A lot of people, and we did this last year, we only had like 1 or 2 sit-down dining reservations. The rest of the trip, we just ate quick service. So that's something that you could do, or like I said previously, you could cut out all your table services and just bring your own food at that point in time, or you can leave the park, go to your resort, eat in your room, and then go back to the park. That also works too. But it's always a way to save money if you want to kind of, you get what you pay for, so kind of keep that in mind. So this is our tips for saving money during your Disney World vacation. If you guys have any more tips that you want to add, make sure to sound off those tips in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.